Donald Trump is going to jail, Adam. Did you know this?
Is he really going to jail?
Well, okay, I say that, but it is conditional. But it's
He
conditional on something that I don't think anyone thinks he won't do.
he threatened the former president with jail. Okay.
Yes,
So what's the story here? Obviously the whole progressive left is jumping for joy. They're just
yes.
over the moon that Donald Trump might spend the night in jail. Donald Trump might actually be trying to get thrown in jail because something tells me that's going to be gangbusters for him fundraising for the election. I know a lot of these election campaigns do a lot of internal polling, and I
hmm
think they probably have a good read of the situation on whether or not going to jail is going to be good for his campaign or bad for his campaign. And if it's going to be good for his campaign, he's going to be do contempt of court. Like he's like gunning for getting thrown in jail, right?
You're so 100% correct.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
100% correct. Well, that's what's kind of weird about this whole situation is because I agree with you. Donald Trump obviously I mean, I think we all would agree. Donald Trump would gain significantly for going to jail for this. His base would definitely rally support him, even though, as you said, I would imagine that he would do it completely intentionally because it seems very obvious it would only serve to help his political career.
Yeah. Look, they're teeing him up for it.
Okay, so this is the story. So this is in relation to the Stormy Daniels case, the case where they basically Trump paid Stormy Daniels to not disclose that they had an affair. Well, allegedly paid her to do this because he's denying it. But you know,
Still,
I
that's
know it
okay.
seems ridiculous. But he didn't just pay her directly, which I think actually would have been legal. He did some kind of weird, roundabout way, paying her by having, his lawyer, Michael Cohen, pay her, and then he paid Michael Cohen, but lied supposedly, allegedly about why he was paying Michael Cohen. So now we have these complicated, campaign contribution violations that is going on here. Okay, so that's the case that's going on. And now Trump has a big problem because we all know Trump likes to talk. He likes to complain about things on social media. But, when you're in a court and you're in a trial for something, even if the trial seems to be BS, you're not supposed to talk about certain things. You're not supposed to necessarily attack potential witnesses or potential jury members or the judge, things of this nature. Generally the court frowns upon these sorts of things. So
But
here's,
Sitch,
yeah,
what about my freedom of speech?
there you go. There you go. I mean, it's interesting. Well, it is interesting because usually in these cases, I mean, obviously people have some level of free speech, but our judicial system has ruled forever, I believe, that the judge can impose certain gag orders on certain things. But never, I don't think it's ever been happened against a president, though, or an ex-president, I should say. So that kind of adds this wrinkle to the story. So here's the story. Judge cites Trump for contempt and says he is attacking the rule of law. Donald J. Trump again broke a gag order meant to bar him from attacking participants in his criminal trial. Justice Juan M. Merkin ruled he threatened the former president with jail. The judge overseeing, excuse me, the judge overseeing Donald J. Trump's criminal trial in Manhattan rebuked the former president on Monday for mounting a, quote, direct attack on the rule of law, holding him in contempt of court for the second time and threatening to jail him if he continued to break a gag order that bars him from attacking jurors. So this is the second time for that
Wow.
specifically,
Okay.
but this is the 10th time Donald Trump has violated a gag order regarding this case. The
Hmm.
10th time. Okay.
Wow, attacking jurors. What is he saying? Like she's got a fat butt, or I your hair looks like a Hitler haircut. What's he saying to these
So
people?
this is what he said, and so I guess I'll skip to the part where what he said. Just let's to get to that question because that is an interesting question here. The violation for which Trump was punished on Monday stemmed from an incident on April 22nd when Mr. Trump made disparaging remarks about the jurors during a telephone interview with a far-right media outlet. That's what the New York Times calls it, the Real American Voice. I'm not familiar with them. The jury, Trump said, had been picked so fast and was mostly all Democrat, adding it's a very unfair situation.
What? How is that targeting the jury? Oh, that seems weak. That seems so weak.
That does seem pretty weak. Yeah. I think it's So I think I read another article about it, and I think what the judge said wasn't that well. Okay, here's the logic here. There's two issues that the judge is mad about. The first is judges don't like it, and obviously the legal system doesn't like it when you attack the validity of the legal system itself, right? And they
Okay.
actually get all pissy when you do that. So they're criticizing him for just before the even case is even heard to say that the whole thing is rigged and unfair, number one. And then number two, they're saying if he's going to say that the jurors are, biased and whatever, he would be setting them up for future attack because potentially, their identities could be known after the case is over. So that's what they're
Right.
arguing.
Right. But this is typically not what we think of as an attack.
Sure, sure. So you
Yeah.
think that this specific violation is too weak sauce?
Well, first of all, it seems just factually correct to me. They probably are mostly Democrats, and
Hmm.
a lot it could be seen as an unfair situation. People have made the argument that he can't really get a fair trial in this area because of the
Right.
concentrated Democrats. So I
Hmm.
just yeah. It doesn't seem untrue, and it's not it's I mean, think of the examples I threw out, right? Going after their physical appearance. I mean, that's what you think of as attacking the jury, right?
I guess I don't know if that would be a weird thing to do. Like, oh, my jury's made of a bunch of fatties. I mean, that
Look,
violates
we're
the
talking
gag order.
about
You'd be like,
President
that's
Trump
weird.
here. We're talking
Yeah.
about President Trump here. So
Right.
I mean, would you be surprised if he insulted their physical
No,
appearance?
I
I mean,
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
be.
be. Yeah,
I wouldn't be.
exactly.
But I see. Well, okay. Well, actually, here, let me read I found the full quote here. It says, the judge is rushing the trial like crazy. Nobody's ever seen a thing go like this. The jury was picked so fast. 95% Democrats. The area is mostly all Democrat. You think of it as just a purely Democrat area. It's a very unfair situation, I can tell you. So it's kind of what you're talking
Well,
about. The
look,
area is
that
Democrat, yeah.
he that is not even I mean, that can be spun by a good
Hmm.
attorney as he's just talking about the makeup of the actual area that the trial is going to take place. He's not even targeting the jury itself. He's saying, "Look, the whole area is made up of Democrats."
Right. So this
Yeah.
is this is what the judge said specifically. He said the defendant violated the order by making public statements about the jury and how it was selected. In doing so, the defendant not only called into question the integrity and therefore the legitimacy of these proceedings, but again raised the specter of fear for the safety of the jurors and of their loved ones.
Oh man.
That was the supposed logic by the judge regarding this.
This judge sounds biased.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the judge is biased. I think the judge is acting the way that a judge acts in every other case. Judges are always very finicky and kind of pissy about this kind of stuff. Whether you like it or not, this is kind of a typical judge behavior. He's just not regarding it differently because of I guess, the level of well, actually, I guess he is regarding it somewhat differently because if this was a normal person, I don't think they would have got ten abilities to piss off the judge before they go to jail. Like if this was just
Right.
some random guy. But
They would have just thrown him in jail if it was some random guy.
for after the first couple times, I assume.
Right. This is his 10th time that the judge
This
has
is his
warned him.
10th time violating the gag order.
Right.
Now you'd have to go back and look at every single one to see which, like, do we think or do you think that, each instance is like a good violation, or I guess I should say worthy violation, to be punished for or not, which I haven't done. You have to go back and look at every single one. But
Right. Look, I 10 times. Look, I don't think we're going to look at all 10 times.
right.
But I mean, I am looking at this one and thinking, all right.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this specific quote is really, I understand why the judge wouldn't like it. I don't think it's that bad though, but I understand why the judge would get all pissy about it. It is
It's
it
pretty
is difficult
innocuous.
because how much leniency do you have to give as a judge in terms of like, okay, we have to bend the rules, I guess, because we're dealing with Donald Trump, right?
It is what it is. What are you going to do?
Okay. So you think you should just be like, well, you just have to as a judge, you just have to take into account these things. You can't just be like, I'm going to treat him like everyone else.
I wouldn't be blowing my wad on this kind of stuff. I mean, wait for him
Hmm.
to attack the physical appearance of the jury.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Look,
don't disagree with
you're
that. Yeah.
walking into this.
Hmm.
Especially this, which could so blatantly be spun as he's just talking about the makeup of the area. Like so fast. The jury was picked so fast.
Hmm.
I mean, I do think the it's just, yes, it is calling into question the validity of the trial, or but I just the whole legal system is designed for the defense attorney to call on the validity of the prosecution. How is what he's doing any different?
Right.
This is so innocuous.
Hmm.
So innocuous by comparison to, I mean, I honestly, when I was making, sure, I was swinging for the fences when I was making my examples, just for comedy reasons, but I assumed that he attacked individual jury members.
Right.
I didn't like that statement. What?
So you think it's like so in the other I know some of the other instances of the gag order violation was, he was attacking the judge specifically, saying the judge was biased because of
The
his
judge is
daughter
biased. Look at
and
this
things of that
order. Look at this
nature.
ruling. I agree with him that the judge is completely
No, no,
biased.
okay, but I'm saying before this occurred, when he's attacking the judge for being biased based on not what the judge was doing, but based on, his daughter, right?
Right.
That that you think that would be a more reasonable violation or a more reasonable like
If he's making
punishment of a
personal,
violation of
sure. Yeah. Look, if
okay,
he's making personal attacks of certain individuals, I think
right.
yes. But, the judge could be thinking, this is the last straw, but it appears that he's just looking for something. Yeah, this is weak
Well, no, he
sauce.
wasn't looking. The state brings this up as a violation and then puts it before the judge. So I mean, obviously the state is looking for stuff. They want to get
Oh,
him
okay.
anything they
Yeah.
can,
Oh, I
right?
got it. I got
Yeah.
it. And the judge went along with the prosecution.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the prosecution wanted to cite Donald Trump for contempt. The judge sided with the prosecution. He cited for contempt. And now he's threatened with jail time.
Hmm.
But we don't know if he's going to go to jail.
Well, I'm highly partial to what you said in the beginning, which is that Donald Trump. I think this is what's going to happen. This will be my prediction. Okay, is that Donald Trump will play this where he will intentionally want to go to jail because it seems very obvious that would help him. And he'll try to do it by saying something that's like violating. I think what's going to happen is that Trump is going to intentionally try to violate the gag order, but do it in kind of the same way that this statement is. Do it in a way where it seems very innocuous or is like as much as on the line as possible, like by saying something that people would say, well, that's true. Why can't he say that? And he's going to try to keep saying statements like that to basically needle the states, to needle the judge to get him to go to jail. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think
Yeah,
he's going to
Trump
say
is the
anything
expert.
hyper egregious.
Trump is an expert at this. He's
Hmm.
he's been doing this for a long time, right? Even the the Mexican comments that he made in the beginning of his campaign. I mean,
Right.
he crafted those could be looked at either way. He knew the left was going to look at him as if he's disparaging all Mexicans, and he knew the right was going to look at it like, no, he's just talking about the criminals.
Right. But see,
Yeah,
this is kind of what's kind of annoying to me about Trump is that like when he made that comment that you're talking about, the Mexican comment, it seems very apparent to me that it's intentionally designed to do the exact thing that you're saying.
yeah. Look, that's
Right.
good politics. It's terrible
Sure.
behavior.
But
It's
then
bad behavior, of course, but
it's yeah, but it's annoying to me that both sides don't look at it that way. They don't look at it like, well, this is very obviously an intentional thing to like trigger people. Um, and I think it's the same thing with what he's going to do here is that he's going to just intentionally make comments that are like right on that line just to try to get thrown in the jail essentially to benefit him. Even though in my mind the fact that it's very obviously intentional should signify like, okay, well, why are we applauding someone who's like intentionally trying to do something to get thrown in the jail just because it'll benefit them? Does that make sense?
yeah, look, I'm not a fan of it. I'm
No,
not in
I mean it's a
favor
good
of it.
strategy. I definitely agree from a
Yeah.
strategy perspective.
Look,
So
I'm just looking at it purely from a strategic move, right?
yes, yes.
Trump Trump campaigning
Hmm.
from a jail cell is just look that how much earned media is that?
I know it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be off the
Yes,
hook.
yes.
It's going to be insane. Look, I already saw articles that they were saying the Secret Service is preparing to
Because
guard
everyone
Trump
knows that
in
everyone,
jail.
it's two things. It's two things. And this is why I was laughing in the beginning of the video. I'm like, Donald Trump is going to go to jail because number one, he wants to. He 100% wants to, because I think it will definitely help his campaign so drastically, especially because his case is very weak. But then number two, it also, like, even if I were to remove from the equation, I think he wants to go to jail, I don't think he can not say anything. Right. We
Well, and,
all kind of look at it like Trump has to say something. We all know like he's like so desperate to like say these, make these comments.
well, a lot of people are also making the argument that he's not going to take the stand in this case, that he hasn't
Hmm.
taken the stand in all of these other cases. He has taken the stand in some cases, though. It's not like he's
Right.
never taken the stand before. And if he wants to go to jail, like if he's literally trying to go to jail,
Hmm.
and it's an amazing campaign opportunity for him to literally take the stand. I think there's a good chance he might take the stand.
Um, there's like weird things. I don't know all the legal specifics about it. There's like weird, like when you take the stand, it can screw you over in some ways, which you have to do certain things. I think. So I'm not
Like,
100% sure. I
what do
understand
you
what you're saying.
mean?
You're saying he could take the stand and basically say this is all rigged and bullshit and blah blah blah, and they call him contempt and he goes to jail for it and everyone cheers, right? That's kind of what you're.
Think of the
Yeah,
campaign ads.
sure. I mean, you're right. It would be a good campaign ad. You have. Well, actually, I don't think any of this is.
Biden is afraid to
I
come
don't
out
think
of
any
his
of this is.
basement, and Trump faces the judge head on.
Right, right, right. I don't think any of this. I don't know if this is
Well,
allowed to
Biden was
be.
hiding in his bunker.
I don't know if this is
Like
allowed to
it
be
writes
filmed.
itself.
I don't know if this is allowed to be filmed, but it would be a good campaign ad if you had like the visual image of Trump on the stand, shouting about, how Biden is hiding in his bunker and this is all rigged and blah, blah. Like that would be a good campaign ad, but I don't know if they can legally film what's going on in the courtroom. Though they should be allowed to. I think it's ridiculous that, they have this situation where they
Don't they
can't film what's
record it?
going on.
Isn't there an audio recording?
I don't, that's a good question. I don't know.
Audio recordings, plenty.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I think you could be right. I still highly don't believe. I think it's very highly likely that Donald Trump will attempt to do exactly what I said. He will keep throwing out these little comments that kind of break the line and would, piss off the judge and the state enough to get a contempt. But people look at it and say, well, that statement is, minor or true. So therefore, he shouldn't go to jail. And it'll force the judge to make this decision because Donald Trump wants to go to jail. I think that is highly likely. But I do think it's highly unlikely that he'll actually take the stand because I don't think he wants to be put in that situation. Or his lawyers really, really don't want him to be put in that situation, even if he wants to be in that
Oh
situation.
yeah, and Trump is so famous for listening to what his
Oh
lawyers
no, I
say.
listen. I know. I'm just saying. I don't think he's going to be on the stand. That's my prediction. He's not going to go on the stand, but he will get thrown in jail for contempt for like a day or whatever.
What's his lawyer that went to jail? What's that guy's name?
Cohen.
Cohen. Yeah, let's talk to Cohen about how Trump listens to his attorneys.
Well, okay, but so there's another angle about this too that's interesting that I want to talk about is okay, if you're the judge,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do in this situation? Do you say, okay, I have to look at this from like a political perspective, or do you just look at it like I got to look at this like every other case perspective? Like I think the judge is in a really weird position to try to like figure out how to handle this.
Well, Juan here is
Hmm.
looking at it from a campaign perspective, obviously, but he's looking at it from just a bad
I don't think he
perspective, and a
is.
lot of
I don't know why you, based on what?
really,
That Juan is looking at it from a campaign perspective, like from like trying to prevent Donald Trump from winning the election.
yeah.
Um, I'm not sure. Well, okay. Well, well,
Convince me he's not. I mean, I just
why
think
don't? Mhm.
the parsimonious answer here is yes, he's politically motivated.
Well, I don't know
But
enough
I mean, if
about
you,
what the
yeah,
judge has done for you to levy that comment. What are you basing that off? I mean, he could be. I don't know enough about the judge.
that he's holding him in contempt for innocuous statements.
That's yeah, but as I said, that statement, I understand that you're saying it's innocuous. That statement would literally be held in contempt for any person in reality. That's how
Right.
judges are when people make these statements. Now you could say, well, I think that's wrong, and I would agree with you. I think that judges are often way too sensitive and pissy about these sorts of things. I 100% agree. But that statement, while it is innocuous, I agree, a judge would hold any person for contempt for saying that. So I don't think that that in itself is evidence of, bias from the judge. I think it's the judge who's being a judge.
Okay. But you're so okay. So you don't have any evidence that he's not politically
Well, I don't
biased.
know enough
And
about,
I
there
don't have
could
any
be other
evidence that he
evidence.
is
Right.
politically biased.
Sure.
So, I
But I
mean,
get
he's one or the other.
sure, sure, sure. But the question I asked you is like, what if you're the judge? How do you
Right.
how should a judge handle the situation? Should they say, like, assuming the judge is not like, if you are the judge and we're not going to be politically biased, we're going to be like try to uphold the laws like much as possible. How do we handle the situation? Do we say, okay, I'm going to just treat Trump like every other person, or do I have to treat this completely differently because it's Donald Trump and
Well,
because he
first of
was a
all, a
president?
lot of judges are elected positions. They're not all appointed positions. So
I
I don't know
understand
if
that.
this guy is an elected judge. If he is an
Hmm.
elected judge, he has some understanding of how politics work. So I would be looking for a situation where Trump egregiously steps over the line. That would be obvious to anyone in the public that he's overstepped the line. And I would wait for that moment to hold him
Hmm.
in contempt of court because I would there he's attacking my credibility and
Hmm.
I don't want to fall into his trap by doing things that are going to play into that narrative that he's trying to put out there that I'm not a biased, uncredible judge. Now, it seems just in this article, he's already lost to Trump because he's already played into that bias.
Hmm.
He's already played into that narrative because he clearly cited him for something that could be seen either way.
Right.
Like it's unclear. What is his evidence that Trump is talking specifically about the jury and not about just the makeup of the area? What
What we
is
specifically
Juan's
said.
evidence of that?
I mean, he specifically said it with the jury.
Yeah, but read the statement again.
Um,
He says the jury was chosen so quickly. And he's like,
the,
and the makeup of that area, it's like all Democrat.
the jury was picked so fast, 95% Democrats. You're saying the jury's 95% Democrats. And then he says the area is mostly all Democrat.
He's saying, so that could be read. It's 95% Democrats. That whole area is 95% Democrats. That's how it could be read.
No, he's saying, okay, maybe. He's saying to me, he's very clear. He's saying that the jury is all Democrats because the area is all Democrats. He's saying both.
He's saying the jury was picked so fast.
Yes.
It's 95% Democrats. That whole area is Democrats. That could be read that the whole
I understand what
area
you're
is
saying. Right.
95%
Sure, sure,
Democrats.
sure, sure. Right.
Not
You could
talking
say it
about
that
the
way.
jury. Look, I'm done
Right.
talking about the jury.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. You could read it that way. Though he's obviously saying that he thinks the jury is biased in the statement.
Continue. What's the bias line? Go ahead. Continue with
The
the
jury
statement.
was picked. You said the judge is rushing the trial like crazy. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. The jury was picked so fast. 95% Democrats, period. The area is mostly all Democrat, period. You think of it as a just a purely Democrat area. It's a very unfair situation. I can tell you.
Yeah, he's talking about the area. After he says a jury is picked so quickly, he moves on to talk about the area. He's not talking about the jury anymore.
No,
He's talking about the area.
you can't. No, you by the logic of the sentence, you have to be talking about too. You're saying the area is mostly Democrats, therefore the jury is mostly Democrats. There's no other way to interpret the sentence.
Yeah, but he's not talking specific. Look, it can be read either way.
No, 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 no.
And
I
his
understand what you're
defense
saying.
attorney will
No.
argue that he's talking about the area. He's not talking about the
Well,
jury.
they already held him in contempt for saying the statement, so it doesn't matter what the defense was. But so he's I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the line 95% Democrats, when he says that, he's saying that that's the composition of the area is
Of the
95 Democrats.
area.
I understand that. I
Yes.
understand that. But what I'm saying is that just by the implicit logic of how you're speaking or how he's speaking, when you say the jury was picked so fast, comma, the area is mostly
Look,
Democrats, 95% Democrats, you are saying that that means that the jury itself, the jury is Democrats and therefore is biased. You are saying that the jury is biased. There's no other, like, otherwise, the sentence doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to complain about otherwise.
people can say things and intend a certain meaning,
Hmm.
and people can hear things and get a completely different meaning. You acknowledge that, right?
Of course, of course.
So the intention of Donald Trump's intended meaning is unimportant here.
Well, no, it'd be important, I guess, because you have to establish the intention when you're trying to say he violated a gag order, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Look, and I am talking also in the realm of public opinion. Like I said, Donald Trump is a master of saying these things in
Hmm.
ways
I agree.
that Democrats will go to the mat, swear on a stack of Bibles, from time immemorial, be talking about how the time he said the jury was 95% Democrat.
Hmm.
And the Republicans will talk about how he's just talking about the area. Like it's so
Right.
obvious he was just talking
I
about
get
the
it,
area.
but that doesn't matter in reference, really. That distinction makes
It
almost no
it does
difference.
matter in the court of public opinion, which is exactly what I'm talking about. When people
Mm.
look at this article and decide whether or not the judge is being biased,
Right.
it does
Okay. So
matter. A
okay. So
thousand percent it matters.
gotcha. So you said,
Yeah.
so you're saying if you're the judge, you would say I have to make, because this is Donald Trump, I can't use the same standards that I use against anyone else. I have to use a different set of standards. So I'm going to give him like a lot of wiggle room essentially to say things that I would hold other people in contempt for. But I gotta, if I'm going to hold them in contempt, it has to be for something like really, like everyone obviously just can see like what the contempt, is going
Yeah, it
on,
has to
right?
be crystal clear, right?
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Look, I think that's a strategic move. I think this move here, I think this is a clear Donald Trump win because I
Hmm.
think it it gives into the Donald Trump's narrative that Juan is biased.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely. I think the reason for that is not because, like, some people would hear that and say, "Oh, well, why are you doing that? Are you politically motivated?" I'd say no, because I think a big part of being a judge is that as a judge, you have an importance to uphold the public perception of the legitimacy of the case, of the court, and of the judicial system as a whole.
Great point. Yeah.
And so, because this is going to be a weird situation, and because, I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter, even if Donald Trump said, you know, the jury's name is this, Johnny Schmitzland, and he lives at this address and he sucks ass. Like, even if Donald Trump said that, there would be a lot of people that would defend that. But so obviously, there's going to be some people that don't give a shit. They're going to say that the case is biased or that the jury's biased no matter what. But I do think as judge, you do need to try to take all these factors into account and say, okay, I should probably give Trump a level of wiggle room and a wide berth in terms of allowing to say kind of the incendiary things he's going to say and only really agree with the state's contempt claims against things that are very clearly egregious or very clearly explicit. So I agree with you. I think
Well,
that is how the
if he
judge
was
should handle the situation.
playing the game, I mean, he'd be trying to get Trump to say more explicit things.
Well, yeah, it's if that's like the goal, right? If he's just trying to be an actually impartial judge, I don't, maybe he's just trying to be an actual judge. He's not trying to do anything like sneaky like that.
He's a former prosecutor, which
That's true.
prosecutors tend to lean
With the
right.
state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well,
Yeah.
possibly. So it says his
It's usually
position,
the
he was,
defense attorneys that are on the left.
that's true. It says
Yeah.
though he was appointed. So it's an appointed position.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes. He was appointed originally by Michael Bloomberg, who's obviously on the left. And then appointed by Governor David Alex Patterson. And
It
he
is
has made,
fascinating.
he has donated, he donated $15 to Joe Biden's campaign in 2020, $10 to the Progressive Turnout Project, and $10 to the Stop Republicans super PAC.
Well, Well, I don't understand why you'd put that information out in the world for 10 fucking dollars.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say as a judge, you're right. I mean, because there's a menial amount. It's like, as a
Why do
judge,
that?
if I was a judge, I wouldn't donate to any political cause. I think it's stupid. If I was a state prosecutor, I wouldn't donate to any political cause. But obviously, I'm guessing at the time that he donated this money, he did not ever conceive of the possibility that he'd have Donald Trump before him in a courtroom, right? When he's giving his
Right.
$15 to Joe Biden's campaign, he's
I
not
guess you're
thinking about
right.
this.
Maybe he was like in high school or something.
Well, no, this was in 2020, so obviously it's like, a few years ago.
2020. Oh my
It's for the
goodness.
2020 campaign, yeah. And he's 60,
This is
two now, so
this
he's
is not that's just that does not strike me as a bright move, but
no.
whatever. Okay.
Well, and I would say, and I'm curious, I don't know what was going on in the pretrial thing, because I would say, I think that would be enough to say you should get a different judge that, you wouldn't really trust the outcome, even though it's
That's
such
enough
a,
for you? Okay.
yes,
Wow. You're saying he's biased.
even though it's such a, well, I do agree with you that the perception of the legitimacy of the court, I think, is very, very important. I think the perception of legitimacy of our institutions is very important, and they are constantly being weakened for numerous reasons in our country, which we've talked about a lot. And even though the amount is very tiny, I still think there's got to be a fucking judge in New York in this district or whatever who hasn't donated money to the fucking Democrats. You could you could have the case before, right?
I mean, you're making Donald Trump's argument. It's
No, but that's the
95% Democrat. You can't
but
fucking find a judge
well, no,
that
I think
hasn't
it's
donated
I
$10
don't think
to.
that's why. I think because it's the way that these cases are assigned. It's generally just I think it's kind of like
Oh, it's
random.
random. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like who has like the time to do it and randomness, and then you can complain after the fact essentially and say, oh, okay, well this guy is biased because XYZ. So I would agree. I don't think they should have. I think they should have had a different judge that didn't have this problem that he had donated money. So.
Right. Ah,
But there you
well,
go. I
yeah.
mean, we're going to come back to this story probably. I think you're probably right. In the next month, Donald Trump is going to go to jail because he's going to want to go to jail and he will make a statement kind of similar to the statement he made above. That's kind of on the line of like, well, I see why the judge wouldn't like that, but it's not really something worth going to jail. All of his fans will get really outraged, you
Just
know.
think of him in front of the court, in front of the jail, just getting
Yeah.
ready to go in and get booked. All the
Yes.
cameras there. My political opponent throwing me in jail. Oh,
There you go. It's true.
yeah.
It's rigged. The
This
whole system is
is,
rigged.
yeah. The deep state. He's got to prove the deep state, and he's doing everything he can to do that.
It is kind of if he doesn't go to jail, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be incredibly shocked, right? Like if he
Right.
doesn't keep saying things to try to go to jail. Okay,
Fascinating story.
there you go.
I wish we didn't live in such interesting times, Sitch.
I know it's terrible.
I know this whole thing is going to fall apart. It's going to crumble right in our hands.
It's true. It's true. Okay. Metal Face Rose for $5 says, I think I said this before. You should have Michael Moynihan on. I think you'd have fun talking to him. I think he's also a friend of Jesse Single.
Okay.
Sure. I'm not familiar with his stuff, but I'll check it out. Gay
Yeah.
Ben for $5. Look at that. Adam, you made not gay Ben gay. Can you believe this?
Where's my flag?
There it is.
Who's ready? Here you guys go. Morning, everybody. It's morning in gay America.
There you go. It says in Biden's America, you don't have a right to remain silent. You have a state mandate against speaking. Wow. Did you see actually, there's that weird clip of Trump. The news, some journalist asked him if he was going to testify, and Donald Trump said that he didn't think he could testify because he has a gag order. And he looks at his lawyers. He's like, is that right? And I wanted so desperately for the camera to pan over to his lawyers to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
To be like, they have nothing to do with it. What are you talking about?
That is insane. Did he really think that he couldn't testify because of the gag
You
order?
didn't see this clip?
Oh no, I
Oh my
haven't seen
God, we
it.
have to watch this. It was insane. I was like, what the fuck? How does he not like what's happening here? This is so retarded.
Donald, you can testify
It's
even if
nothing
you
to
have a
do with it.
gag
How does he not
order.
know this?
The gag orders not being able to talk outside of the trial. Oh,
Yes. I sent you here. I sent it to you. It's a Twitter clip. But
okay. We'll
and it was
bring it
funny
up.
because I saw Ed Krasenstein had tweeted out, and he was like, Donald Trump is, so obviously continuing to lie. And I'm like, I don't know if he's lying. I think he's just stupid.
He thinks he made that up?
I think Trump's just dumb.
Wow.
Zero fucks for 20 months. Sarah's good logic is in the process of suing Merchant for the gag order. I saw that. Yeah, I haven't watched any of his streams, but I saw that. He's been doing streams working the court filings. Maybe he can come on again soon. Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously, good logic is very, 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 very pro-Trump. So I don't know how it's like, I don't know if it's an unbiased look of the law. Actually, yeah, that'd be funny. We'll get good logic and Pisco to argue again about this. That could be fun, right?
Oh, that's great. Yeah. They argue and we get the super chats.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's a good strategy. Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says Trump's legal stuff is just white noise to me now. Yeah, and I think that's why I think these New York cases are all really stupid because I do think some of the cases are serious cases, but the New York ones are all kind of bullshit. And because they're doing it for their own selfish reasons of just trying to get elected, the prosecutors in New York, they've essentially, thrown a blanket on the actual important cases. So,
Yeah, which sucks.
which
You
does
want to
suck.
do a 3, 2, 1 on this clip?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order. I guess. I can't even testify at all. No, we're going to be appealing the gag order. I'd love to answer that question. It's a very easy question, the easiest question so far. But I'm not allowed to testify because this judge, who's totally conflicted, has me under an unconstitutional gag order. Nobody's ever had it.
Okay, well that is unfortunate.
I just thought it was the president, not what a gag order is and how it works. It's pretty shocking to me. I was like, oh my God, he's so stupid.
Yeah, but so many people are gonna think that a gag order means you can't testify.
Yeah, I guess. True.
That's completely unconstitutional. You
I know.
can't
It's wild.
you can't prevent a defendant from testifying on their own behalf.
No, of course not.
There's no way to do that.
Of course not. Yeah.
And it's like highly illegal.
Of course, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I wish so much if this was like a TV show when Trump said like I'm not allowed to do that, right? And he looks and you're presuming
Yeah,
it's like
you
his
want the
lawyers.
reaction shot.
I wanted the reaction of the lawyers so bad. I want them just to have like this like befuddled look on their face, like the fuck are you talking about? No, stop.
That's so crazy.
Okay. Caleb the Cynic for 11 months says, I'm not watching live often, but I'm still trying to keep up. S-Class is the best class. Thank you. AKA Batosai for 5 memberships. Thank you so much. The Manslayer. And Schmokey, thank you for the 5 get the memberships.
Yes. That's so awesome.
Cameraman 502 for $5 says the implication is that Vor Dyer was so fast you couldn't find unbiased juries for them from the 95% area. Thus, the system is rigged, which violates the order. Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would assume is the argument, though I think 99% of people will look at it the exact same way that Adam looked at it and said, I don't see why this is a big deal. This judge is obviously biased.
Yep.
Yep. So,
Gay Ben
or
coming
dear.
back for
Sorry, I said the
more.
word wrong. But Gay ban for $5. Thanks so much. As if Trump goes to jail, it's because he wants to. It's his fault. He is wearing such a short skirt. I think you're misunderstanding what we're saying, Gay Ben. We're saying that it seems very clear to us, maybe not as clear to you, it seems very clear to us that Donald Trump would benefit from going to jail and sort of helping his political campaign because obviously most of his supporters will see it as a very unjust thing. It'll help raise money. People go wild. It will be this massive story in the news, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if we know that, presumably, Donald Trump knows that, Donald Trump's team knows that, so why would Donald Trump not try to take advantage of it by sort of doing that exact thing?
Yeah,
It would be
it's
stupid, in my opinion, to be incredibly stupid for Donald Trump to not try to go to jail.
It's a gamble. You would think it was an educated gamble when, a lot of these campaigns do focus groups on different areas, different swing states.
Right.
So if they think going to jail is going to help him, then why wouldn't they just put a thumb on the scale to go to jail?
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
I
I'm
mean, I
saying
guess that's
he wants
true.
to do it deliberately.
It's possible, and I mean, we could just be wrong in our assessment that they could have done focus testing, and the focus testing found out that
It was a
going to jail would
terrible
actually
idea.
hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is possible, and then he'll try not to do it, presumably. But if
But
he
I
has
think,
self-control,
I would like
I'm
to
not
see
sure about that.
the focus group testing,
Sure.
but
Well, that's
I do
all
think,
secret and confidential.
right. This is why a lot of campaigns do internal polling. They don't just rely on the
Of course.
media polling. They do their
Right.
own polling. And I think Trump, I think it would be, my gut tells me it would be a win for him.
Yes,
And
that's what my gut says too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he would do it.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you?
That's true. Hey, Ben $5 says, "Gotcha. He likes the short skirt and the attention it gets. He knows what he's doing in it." There you go. I'm glad you
Yeah,
finally
look,
get it.
he did.
Yes,
He's putting
there
on
you
the
go.
short skirt. He's
He
saying
is.
like, "Send me to jail,
Donald Trump
baby."
he's put on the short skirt. Okay, he's got like his big fat ass spilling out of it. He's wearing like the thong that's riding up, and he's got like money coming out of his pockets, and he's like walking through Central Park at night. And he's like, "Come get it, boys."
What is the downside? Like he's gonna have Secret Service protecting him. Like all the downside you would normally have going to jail don't really affect him.
Well, I mean, it's still obviously no one wants to. It's an inconvenient thing to obviously be in jail, right? And it would depend on
You're
also.
in a political campaign. Your
I
goal is
understand.
to draw attention to yourself.
No,
Like,
I agree with
what
you.
is going to be a more attention grabbing thing? No one is really even talking about the campaign.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. From a campaign perspective, it would it seems obvious to us that he'd obviously benefit from going to jail. Yes.
Yeah, nobody will care what is going on in the Biden camp.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll be like, former president in jail.
And people will be like, I want to see like the live stream, like set up a live stream. I want the Donald Trump in jail live stream, right? They're not going to do it, but
Yeah,
that's really what I want.
exactly.
Yeah, sure. No, and it'd be, I mean, it'd be that story would sweep the nation. It'd be all anyone's talking about for like 24, 48 hours.
Does
Which
it
is what
help
you want
him?
when you're president or running for president, I should say.
Does it help him with the ex-con vote?
It could. There you go.
How many
Yeah, very well.
ex-cons are going to...
There you
I'm going to
go.
register to vote. I want my voting rights back again. One of our own.
There it is. Crack Rocksteady, our favorite Ninja Turtle supervillain. Thanks so much for 25 months, over 2 years of discipline equals freedom. Thank you so much. Says, shame I didn't catch the show since I was cutting my hair and running errands. I just want to show some love to my favorite centrist on my birthday. S-Class is the best class. And A-Team reigns supreme. Well, there you go.
Well, thank you and happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
birthday.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Another trip around the sun.
Fondue for $2 says, calculate a risk, but is Trump good at math? I think Trump's better at math than most women are, which is what we're going to talk about in our next story.
Oof.
Solatosh for $5 says, who cares about dumb politics? Congrats to the Helldivers 2 community for cyberbullying Sony into taking back their PSN requirements. That's right. That's right. I don't know if you've been following that story, Adam. There's a very popular game called Helldivers, and it's owned technically, I guess, by Sony. And even though the game was available on Steam this whole time and you could play it just directly through Steam, they were going to implement new requirements that made it so everyone had to sign up and have a PlayStation account and use I guess you'd have to log in through your PlayStation account to access the game and everything. And everyone got so incredibly mad about it and review bombed the game and started refunding the game. And the backlash was so severe that Sony actually gave up and said, okay, we hear you. We won't do this. Sorry, our bad. And they nixed the whole thing.
That's good.
So
I like it.
Good on.
Yeah,
I always like to
consumers
see a
fight
win.
back.
Yeah, good for the video game community. Gay Ben for $5 says, man, Trump going to jail sounds like a real treat, guys. Great analysis. Thanks. Make mine. Thanks. Make mine Marvel.
Right.
There you go. I mean, I feel like you're being a little biased, Gay Ben. I feel like the maybe your transformation into being gay is kind of, it's kind of affected your judgment a little bit, right? All the hormones. I get it. Listen, I get it. Strong hormones. Okay.
It could be
Fine.
bad. I'm not sure.
There you go.
We don't have the
The polling, do you?
pulse of the
I
nation.
think
Yeah.
there was a poll that showed that if he gets found guilty, that some amount of people that support Trump would look at it like not well, which is what I've said from the beginning. There's a weird thing that happens that doesn't really matter what the case is. If you're found guilty, some percentage of people will just believe that you should be found guilty because you were, even if it's a bullshit case. And so I think going to jail for that would hurt Donald Trump, but I think going to jail for this would actually help him.
And they don't the people who have faith in the judicial system tend to be more on the right anyway. So
True.
yeah.
Yeah. Fondue for $5 says Trump intentionally standing over a grate to have the wind blow his dress. There you go. That's true. He's doing the Marilyn Monroe. Okay. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about bears.
Oh
It's
no.
time. It's our favorite subject.
No.
It's the bear question. You know who's finally weighed in on the bear question, Adam?
Who?
The mainstream media, CNN, has finally weighed in on the bear question. Look at this. Oh my.
Man or bear? A viral question has spawned I'm terrified. Scary responses, Sitch.
Yes, oh my God, the discourse around this, every part of the discourse around this is so mind-numbingly stupid. It hurts. It hurts. Okay. So let's jump into this. CNN says, another day, another hypothetical scenario tearing people apart on social media. However, this cultural discourse has some sharp teeth. Wow.
Oh
The
no.
question.
Oh no. It's one of those articles.
No, it's just, yeah, exactly. The question directed towards women seems simple. Would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear? While there's no unanimous answer, a good number of women on TikTok, Instagram, and X have made it clear they prefer the bear. This has sparked anger among some men online. But more than that, it has snowballed into a valuable discussion about violence against women and how danger doesn't always take the shape of a wild animal on the prowl. Okay. So just a prediction, because I don't think you read this article. Do you think at any point in this article they will actually correctly verbalize why some men might be upset by this
Of course
question?
not. It's CNN. That's an easy question. Hell no. They just give
Okay.
the female feminist perspective.
Right.
Which oddly, I've given that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people have given me a hard time. And I'm just like, look, I understand the perspective. I'm not saying it's like okay or anything.
Or
Just,
logical.
yeah, look,
Yes.
I get what's going on here.
Right.
This is
But
it.
so yes, but you understand why, because I'll explain it because CNN obviously doesn't get it. The reason why men would be upset about this answer is stereotype threat, something that we've talked about
Of
a lot.
course.
Okay.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the implication, obviously, by the woman is that they're so afraid of men and the stereotype of men being, criminals, murderers, sexual assaulters, all those things, that they would literally choose being in the woods alone with a wild animal that could very likely murder them, as opposed to just being in the woods with a random human and taking their chances that the random human doesn't actually mean them any ill will. And it's basically, to me, very clearly showing that women have been basically so indoctrinated with this all the men are out to get you, all the men are sexual assaulters ideas, that's why they think this way. They'd rather take their chance with a wild fucking bear than a random person.
Is it random though? I mean, it's a guy who is in the woods alone.
What do you mean? Lots of people hike through the woods and do just stuff like that.
By themselves?
Yeah, of course.
One lone guy in the
Well,
woods.
wait, in the hypothetical, you're hiking in the woods alone too, are you not?
I guess, yeah.
Now, there's a lot of questions you could add to this that would actually should change people's calculations, which people aren't doing. Like, what kind of bear is it, right? That's the number one question that you should
What
add. Is
kind of
it
man is it?
well, okay, before we get into that, right? What kind of bear is it, you know? Is it a black bear, which are thought of as, you know, less likely to murder you than like a brown bear slash grizzly bear? Obviously, it wouldn't make sense for there to be a polar bear in the woods unless you're like really, really far up north or something to
It's a
that effect.
panda bear.
Right. Is it a
No, it's a
panda
koala
bear? Right.
bear.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know, things of that nature. And then also it would also depend on what your location is, because you're right. There are places that people hike that aren't like so far off the beaten track that it wouldn't be weird to meet a random person in the woods, right?
Right.
But there are places you could be in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and you're like, why is there another person here? And that could be like extra sus.
Of course. Yeah.
So, or it could just be a homeless guy, okay? You don't know. Who knows?
Even scarier.
There you go. But to the people that don't get why this is just so offensive to men, that's why I said the question you ask them is you just say, okay, here's your choice. Would you rather be alone in the woods with a bear or a black man?
Right.
And the fact that everyone instantly intuitively knows that that's a trap
A
question.
negative stereotype.
Right,
Yeah.
because they say, well, if they choose not to be alone in the woods with a black man, it's racist. And it's very interesting to me that people sense that and they go, oh shit. But it shows that the acceptability of everyone to just be openly sexist to men is just so widely accepted in society. And it's also what's funny too, when you hear all these women in these articles and on the internet talk about like the sexual assault statistics and everything, like, well, wait a minute. Why can't you say the same thing about someone on the basis of their race? If you asked that question and said, okay, would you rather be in the woods alone with a white person or a black person? Would they even answer that question? And if they did, would you say, oh, well, statistically, you know, based on crime rates, you know, it'd be better to choose the white person, right?
You're
Like they
making
never
it
say that in a
worse.
million fucking years.
You're making it worse. Yeah. They're not going
Right.
to
But
do
that's
that.
but because sexism against men is just so allowed in our society, that's how you get away with this stupid question. They say, "Oh no, the man's gonna, you know, assault me." Look at the math. Look at the numbers. Which obviously, and as I said, this proves women don't know math because I can guarantee you, if you actually had some kind of analysis where you looked at every interaction a human has with a bear versus every interaction a human has with another human male, there's going to be more, you know, the number of bear attacks is going to far outweigh all the number of human interactions you have on a daily basis where you're not attacked by the person.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
What do
But
you mean?
I don't know that bears usually try to steer clear of human beings. So,
No, no, I understand that, but you'd have to compare interactions of humans bears. Like obviously, if the bear is trying to avoid a human, that's not. If they don't interact, or the bear sees a person from far off and walks away, that's not like a interaction, right?
I guess, I mean, it's not really clear in the scenario.
No, but I'm saying mathematically, in order to see like what's more dangerous, a man or a bear, you'd actually have to compare how many times does a human interact with a bear that doesn't
No,
lead to attack
I
versus how many times does
understand
a
that
human
though.
interact with a human that doesn't lead with attack. And obviously, the amount of times humans interact with humans that doesn't lead to violent attacks is like so much higher than the bears. It's just,
The hypothetical though is not shaking the hands of a bear in the woods.
I
It's like
understand.
just encountering a
I know
bear.
you're just
And
encountering it.
usually when you encounter a bear, the bear is going to be as afraid of you as you are of them, and then the bear is going to go in the opposite
Well,
direction.
there's lots of, it depends, obviously. Right? Is the
Right.
bear
Yes.
hungry? Are
If
you
the
in the
bear
bear's
is
territory? I
starving,
know
right? Are you filming
there's
The
all sorts
Revenant?
of, in real life, there'd be like 1,000 variables to consider, right? But for the point of the hypothetical, we're not even, none of those variables matter.
Can we go back to the hypothetical and read the specific hypothetical that everyone's losing their minds over? I'm not sure I've even read it.
Okay, I don't have it offhand. I don't know
Oh,
what
you
the
don't?
exact hypothetical was asked.
Oh, okay. So
It's just that if would you prefer if you're in the woods alone and when you're like walking through the woods, would you prefer to stumble upon a bear or a person?
right. And people say the bear because the bear is more likely to just want to mind its own business and go in the opposite direction. And there's this I don't necessarily know what's going to happen with the person interaction.
Sure. I guess that would be
Yeah.
what some people would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let me continue the article. Quote, the fact that women would even consider a hypothetical man-bear question means we have utterly failed to create a safe society, one user wrote on X. That's, of course, a retard saying that. According to the data from the United Nations, almost 89,000 women and girls were intentionally killed worldwide in 2022. Okay. This is again showing people's lack of understanding of math. How many times does a woman interact with a man versus how many times does a woman interact with a bear on a daily basis? A lot of critics are missing the point, says the CNN article. People rankled by the number of women choosing to take their chance with a bear have called the question misandrous, which is correct, and said it's an excuse to freely hate on men, which is also correct. Others, missing the point entirely, have taken the opportunity to mock and belittle women in response. One X post shows a cartoon of a woman telling a bear she's glad to be stuck with it instead of a man, tee-hee. In the second panel, the bear has violently mauled her. Okay, did you see this post?
I did, yeah.
I saw this post and it was shocking to me how this is why I hate social media. It's why I hate humans. Every single dumb fuck retard that responded to that post completely didn't understand the post. They totally spun it around in a very dishonest strawman way, and then hundreds of thousands of people liked it because they all engage in this act of performative stupidity. Performative stupidity is like one of the worst behaviors humans can engage in. It's when someone says something, and in order to attack them, you deliberately strawman the position, and everyone knows you deliberately strawman them, and they all just cheer and support it anyway because they're all pieces of shit.
Right.
Okay. And
I
so,
found the original quote.
okay,
If you were alone in the woods, would you rather encounter a bear or a man?
there you go.
Okay.
Very simple.
So
Okay.
the encounter is just like seeing off from a distance.
Well, it
Is
could
what
be.
I
It could
would
be
think.
interpreted any way, obviously, right?
Yeah, but I would think most people are just interpreting it as eye contact from a distance.
Well, okay. If it's like a mile, if you're like in the woods and you see a bear like a mile the fuck away, I mean, it'd be a very different situation than if you like walk up and, oh, there's a bear there, right? Like those are
Yeah.
very different situations.
Yeah.
Sure, but you'd have to actually suss that out in the hypothetical to get an answer that made sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I guess. Look, this is just the hypothetical is unclear. So
I know. I understand that.
I think people are losing their minds for just not
I
really.
don't, because I don't think when you hear the women talking about this, they're not like, oh, well, that if I just saw a bear from very far away, the bear probably wouldn't come after me. But if I saw a man from very far away, it's a higher likelihood that if they have nefarious purposes, they might come towards me. Right? Like that's like, okay, I understand that response. That's not what people are saying. They're saying like, oh, well, men are more violent, men will try to sexually assault you, blah, 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 blah. Like they're not framing it the way that you're framing it, which is based on some kind of like logical chain of events.
Right. They're saying I'd have an easier time getting away from the bear.
Right. Or they're just
And
virtue
I
signaling.
mean, that's probably true, but
It's not, I don't think that. It depends what the situation. If you're very close to a bear and you piss off a bear or startle a bear and it wants to attack you, your chances of getting away from it by running are so much less. Like that's you can't run away from a bear, okay? This is like from like a person, you could outrun a person far easier than you could outrun a bear. You
if you were
understand that,
alone
right?
in the woods, would you rather have a close encounter with a bear or a man? Would
Well, see,
make
that's a
it, I
better
mean,
question. Yeah,
yeah, of
sure,
course.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, what I was saying regarding the performance stupidity.
Hmm.
So so the tweet was just like the little meme picture of the girl, and she's like, "Oh, look, it's a bear. I'm so happy I chose you." And then the second panel shows, the bear
The bear maul,
attacking, and
the,
this is blood
yeah,
everywhere, right?
yeah.
And like the response to this was so insipid. It's infuriating because this, and I'll read, the CNN kind of talked about it. They're saying, help me understand the math, a top response reads. Women said they feel safer with a bear than a man, so in response, you as a man decide to create imagery of them being violently dissected in order to prove that you're not violent and are safe to be around. Okay. And there was like a dozen comments like that, and they all had hundreds of thousands of likes. And it was so disgusting because it's like you all like those people cannot possibly be that low IQ. To be that low IQ would require that you don't have the ability to eat food without choking to death.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fucking obviously, the point of the meme was how stupid it was for a woman to think that the bear is safer than a man because the bear will fucking kill you or has a high likelihood of fucking killing you. They're not saying, haha, you deserve to get killed by a bear. They're just saying, no, what you're saying is stupid because the bear will kill you. That's all it meant. It's so fucking simple. And these stupid, dumb fuck idiots we're like, oh, what? This is just proving that men are more violent. I don't see a bear drawing a picture of a person killing me, so therefore this proves that men are more violent. That they drew a picture, or they made a mean picture. It's like, are you kidding me? And I'm convinced these people know that they understand that it's bullshit. They're all just doing this performative stupidity, virtue signal stuff because they're all like horrible people.
If if the encounter is at, say, 20 feet away.
You're very focused on this item.
Well, I just look, if most people are thinking it's an encounter of like eye contact,
Right.
to say that you're more likely to get mauled by a bear just doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Like if you encounter a bear in the woods at a distance, the bear is going to mind its own business and you're going to go your own way. And that's going to be that.
At 20 feet away, that's very close. I don't know I don't agree with that at all. 20
Well,
feet
look,
away is not a long distance.
I'm trying to figure out how you get 20 feet up to a bear and don't even know it's there. I mean, I guess
You
maybe
can
it's
just walk over a
hibernating
hill.
or
What do you mean?
something.
Walk over a hill, walk around some
Right. You
trees
walk.
or
Oh, so,
bushes. Yeah, what
right.
do you
Okay.
mean?
And then there's
Yeah.
a bear there.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
immediately
Right.
like back up and move off.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, sure. You back up, the bear turns around and sees you, smells
Mm-hmm.
you, and there's a lot of like it depends. The bear could if like depending on its age, depending on what kind of bear it is, they could be like, "Oh fuck," and they could just wander away and be like, "I don't want to deal with this guy." Or the bear could be like, "You're in my territory. You're threatening my cubs. I'm gonna fucking kill you," right? Or I'm really hungry and there's a meal here. There's uh, you understand? There's like a lot of different ways that this could go down.
Yeah. There's 750,000 black bears in North America. They kill less than one person per year on average.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my God. Someone's doing the stats.
Are you reading? What are you reading this from?
How dangerous are black bears, North America?
No, but okay. You understand that that statistic is dumb in relation to what we're talking about, right?
Right, but I mean,
Because how many
just
times does a human
you
interact with a
literally
black bear? This is people don't understand. This is
you
the
said
Neil
that the
deGrasse
bear is
Tyson
more
people.
likely to kill you. That's exactly what you said.
Yes,
I don't know how you could say that. Like, and you have to add all these modifiers on to, like, it's a bear protecting its cubs. Okay, well, if it's a bear protecting its cubs, then it is more likely to kill you. But that's not what the thought experiment says.
it's just like, oh my God,
I don't. I honestly I don't understand why people are losing their minds over this.
I can't. This is like insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
What don't you understand about the math here? I don't. What don't you understand about this hypothetical? This is so baffling to me.
Well, I don't understand how you could categorically say that the bear is more
Okay,
likely
let me
to
ask you a
kill you.
question. Let me ask you a question. Here's a website.
I know you
Wise.
believe
Wait, no, no,
that,
hold on,
but
hold on, hold on. This website's called Wise About Bears. Okay.
okay.
It says, and I don't know if this statistic is true. It's just what the person said. They said black bears have killed 67 people across North America since the year 1900. First of all, I don't think that that's true, but let's just say theoretically that's true.
Okay.
Um, then the person says, this no longer worries me because my chances of being killed by a domesticated dog or lightning are vastly greater. My
Of
chances of
course.
being okay. So if you say, okay, my chances of being killed by a dog statistically are much higher than my chances of being killed by a black bear, right? You understand this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask a question. You have a choice. Your choice is you can either be in a room where you have to be 5 feet from a random dog or 5 feet from a random black bear. What do you choose?
I guess I'm going with the black bear. It's much
That's the
safer than the
fucking
dog.
most retarded choice ever. Do you understand that? This is how statistics tricks people.
No, I know. Look, I don't. I
No,
just.
but you
I think
understand that's because the reason that the deaths between for humans, the reason your chances of being killed by a domestic dog are so much higher than being killed by a bear is because you and every other person
encounter
interacts with
them.
dogs
Yes.
constantly, all the
Yes.
time. And so they're
Yes.
everywhere. Where your interactions with bears are teeny, teeny, tiny. You've probably
Right.
never interacted with a bear in your entire fucking life. I have never interacted with a bear in my entire life. But I've interacted with
Hmm.
thousands and thousands and thousands of dogs.
I mean, I have had interactions with bears, but they've always been very cordial.
Okay, but like, so how many? One, two?
Look, I've seen bears in the zoos.
Okay, I'm not talking
obviously,
about zoos. I'm talking about the
obviously,
wild.
I've had interactions with bears.
I've
Okay.
seen a bear in a zoo. Okay, that doesn't count.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. Like
Okay.
you're saying that if the interactions with bears were to skyrocket, then there would be far more bear maulings.
Yes, of
Right.
course. Right.
Okay. I mean, we would have to play this out, and obviously we'd have to get the specifics on what an encounter is.
Mhm.
Like if you're if an encounter is 5 foot from a bear, I would say yes, the bear maulings are going to go because you're literally like invading the bear's personal space. The bear is going to be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you getting so close to me?"
Right.
But I just, in the hypothetical, the encounter could be eye contact from a distance. And I think a lot of people are just saying, they're thinking it's eye contact from a distance. Like
Mhm.
they're not thinking, look, I parachuted in and now I'm sitting on top of a bear.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but we don't
So,
know for
but
the sake of the hypothetical.
if
'Cause
we
that's the point.
if we skyrocket the bear interactions, okay, the bear human interactions, and we go eye contact at a distance, let's say 20 yards, right? So it's like the bear has its personal space, you have your personal space. How many of those encounters are going to end up in bear attacks?
Sorry, can you say it again? I was reading something.
Okay. So if we skyrocket the bear encounters, like
Yes.
we're doing 1,000 man bear encounters a day, right? But we're
Yes.
doing them at a distance,
Yeah.
20 yards, eye contact. How many of those encounters end up in the death of the human?
I think a lot. I mean, it also
At
depends
20
on
at 20
yes,
yards?
20 yards is not that far away for a wild animal. I don't, what are you talking about?
I mean, I would say you've got it's personal space. I mean, does a man like yell at the bear? Or, I mean,
Well,
I,
first of all, it depends. And I actually have an entire article I was going to read, not an entire article. I have a web page I was going to read from the National Park Service that tells you what you should do when you interact with a bear. 'Cause it's actually
okay,
kind of
let's hear
interesting.
that.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
This is from the National Park Service. Every bear encounter is different. Bears exhibit different kinds of behaviors during different situations, and understanding the bear's behavior can make the difference between life and death. There
All
are two
right.
types of bear charges, the bluff charge and the aggressive charge. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Bluff charges are more common. Bluff charges are meant to scare or intimidate. When a bear bluff charges, it will have its head and ears up and forward. The bear will puff itself up to look bigger. It will bound on its front paws towards you, moving in big leaps, but then stop short or veer off to one side. Often bears retreat after a bluff charge, or they may vocalize loudly. If you see a
Yeah.
bluff charge about to happen, slowly back away while waving your arms above your head and speak to the bear in a calm voice. When the bear charges you, hold your ground and stay calm. After the bear charges, slowly retreat again while keeping an eye on the bear. Let the bear know that you're a human and that you aren't a threat. Continue to speak to the bear in a calm voice and make it clear you are a human.
Well,
I
that's
do
good
like that.
advice if you encounter a man in the woods too.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I like the idea that it keeps saying, make it clear you're a human. Like, I'm a human bear. Like, it's gonna, like, I know what they mean, but it's just the way they're wording it is funny.
Yeah, no, it is
Also,
funny.
and like, this is probably good advice, but, I just try to imagine, like, when you see a
Holding your
bear,
ground? Fuck you.
yeah, like a bear is charging you, and you have to be like so calm and cognizant, like I gotta look for what direction its ears are facing.
I
I,
know.
you know, you gotta be like doing all these steps.
So most of these probably end up in the person running. What happens when that happens?
That's the worst case scenario because then the bear will
Right,
like
because the bear
chase you.
chases. They're
Right.
like, oh, look, free food.
Well, and this is what it says. It says, do not, it says in caps, do not run during a bluff charge. It may trigger the bear to attack. Stand your ground. Be ready for the bear to make contact in case the charge is not a bluff charge. Know how to protect and defend yourself in case the bear turns aggressive. And this is the
Right.
next part. Aggressive charges are very dangerous. Bears may yawn or clack their teeth and pound their front paws on the ground while huffing. These are warning signs. These behaviors indicate that a bear is stressed and may be getting ready to charge. It will
Yeah,
have
he
its
wants you to get out of his personal fucking space.
well, no, that means it is going to attack you for whatever reason, right?
Well, it's stressed because you're in its space, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. It will have its head down and ears pointed back, and the bear will come at you like a freight train to be ready to protect and defend yourself. Now again, this is from the National Park Service. This is what they say, okay? If you try these in the wild and you fail, don't sue me. All right. This is what the National Park Service says. It says if a black bear aggressive charges you and attacks you, fight back with everything you have. Do not play dead. Direct punches and kicks at the bear's face. Use any weapons like rocks, branches, or bear spray to defend yourself. Okay.
Wow.
So
I
it's
think the
interesting.
women should read
There
this.
you go. If a grizzly or brown bear charges and attacks you, play dead. Do not fight back. Cover your head and neck with your hands and arms, lay flat on your stomach, and spread your legs apart. Why do they want you
No,
to?
no. He's
Why do
gonna
they
go
want
for my
your
he's gonna go
junk?
for the family jewels.
Why does it? I don't know why they want you to spread your legs apart. I guess, oh, maybe because it just like it's more likely it'll hit the ground or something. I don't know. Keep your pack on. It'll help you during an attack. Stay still and don't make any noise. You're trying to convince the bear that you aren't a threat to it or its cubs. Do not get up right away because the bear may still be in the area. Wait several minutes until you are sure the bear is gone. Fighting back during an attack from a grizzly brown bear will usually worsen the attack, but if the attack persists, then fight with everything you have. I mean, it's
Oh
gonna
man,
be
it's conflicting advice.
well.
It's like
How you
play
gonna
dead, but if he won't go away, fight.
right? Like, yeah. How do you know when the exact like metric is of well, playing dead hasn't worked, so now I have to fight or I'm gonna die, right?
When you're almost dead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not playing anymore. I'm dying.
Yes. What if I surprise a bear? This is kind of a problem.
That's
Yeah,
the worst.
that's the worst, yeah. If you surprise a bear, regardless of the species, don't fight it. Unless the bear is acting predatory, do not fight it. This can cause the bear to act more aggressively towards you and trigger an attack. If you surprise a bear, slowly and calmly back away while avoiding direct eye contact. The bear may see this as aggressive or challenging behavior. There you go. Don't make eye contact. Slowly
Yeah.
and calmly speak to the bear, wave your arms, let the bear know you're human, pick up any small children or pets immediately, watch the bear as you leave the area. If you surprise a black
Throw the
bear,
small children at
there you
them
go.
and run.
Then it says kind of the same things regarding black bear and grizzly bear. And it says never run from a surprised bear because it can cause a predatory reaction. Do not try to climb a tree. You cannot outrun or outclimb a bear. That's what it says.
Wow.
And then the last one, I guess the last is actually the worst. It says predatory bears. Predatory bears are very different than surprised or defensive bears. If you encounter a bear that's curious or stalks you like a predator, be ready to fight. Do not run. Stalking and curious bears are not in a defensive mindset like a surprise bear. They are ready to attack their prey at a moment's notice, and you are the prey. Try to seek shelter in a car or building if possible. Thank you. If that
Oh my
isn't an option, be
God.
ready to fight. If you notice a bear stalking you, now is the time to get your bear spray ready. If the bear attacks you, fight back with everything you have. So that's interesting. They're saying I guess they're saying if you're being stalked by a bear, even a brown bear, even a black bear, you have to fight it.
But you're gonna die. You're
How would
just
you?
gonna die.
They don't really give you an indication. How do you know if a bear is quote stalking slash curious of you rather than just like randomly stumbled upon you or is defensive? Like how would you determine that?
Is this why they always have bear spray? There's like so much bear spray is because
Yes.
bears are just
Does they could spray a
a
bear in the
menace
face?
to society.
Yeah, bears. I mean, they're dangerous.
Hmm. Okay.
There you go. So this is from the National Parks Service about bears.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
my information about bears is incorrect. Now I do think bears seem far more frightening, but
After reading that, you're like, hmm.
you've just primed me.
Yes. Yeah.
Before I would think, okay, as long as you stay out of their personal space, you see a bear, you just back away.
Hmm.
Just my instinct before I heard any of that would be like, okay, the bear's a safe distance away. I'm just going to back away, go in the other direction. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. So I've read stories. I've read, stories people put out there about how, they would go, they'd have to go through areas that had bears at like times that bears would be out, and they would carry, things that made a lot of noise so that
You
the
know, let the
bear would,
bears know.
yeah, they'll
Yeah.
hear you coming and try to and generally leave before you get there because they generally don't want to interact with humans and things of that nature. And I'm sure, yeah, if you see a bear like in the distance, unless it's a very severe situation, it's probably not going to come at you, right?
Should I
But
carry bear treats?
that's probably not a good idea.
Is there, how do they like beef jerky?
Can you like have like a big juicy cartoon steak and you like throw it somewhere else and the bear will go I
Yeah,
don't think the bear will go
exactly.
after it instead of you. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think it works like that.
Okay. So anyway, I guess
Anyway.
back to the thought experiment. So if you encounter a bear at some distance, what are the statistics for the maulings?
I
Like,
don't
is
know.
it
I don't think that information exists.
1 in 5?
I have
I
no
guess
clue.
the bear encounters aren't really recorded, so nobody really knows.
Well, like, I'm sure you could look up how many people are attacked by bears and you can get that information, but I don't know if it's like been categorized by all these different variables that we're kind of talking about.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Wait, I want to read more from this article though.
I mean, this is destroying my stereotype of bears being cuddly, friendly.
Well, listen, maybe people aren't so despicable that I thought. They just don't have a concept of bears. That's an appropriate concept of
Right.
bears.
Yeah. Look,
Okay.
I'm used to Pooh Bear, man. He's
Okay.
cute. He's
Okay.
friends with Eeyore.
There you go. So anyway, this is what they said. This is what the CNN article says in response to the meme of the woman getting killed by a bear. This kind of unintentional proof of theory has frustrated women who feel like some men generally don't understand or care to understand what it feels like to never feel entirely safe around other people. Oh my God.
You're whispering.
What it feels like to never be entirely safe around other people. The tragedy of that is so strong. Oh my God. Then it says men are leading their voices into the discussion or lending their voices. Okay, so here you go. Men are lending their voices. You think they're going to interview a man? The man's going to say, you know what? As a man, it hurts my feelings that I, as a man, am stereotyped by women and society as being a violent threat just for existing, right? Is it right that as a man, that just for existing, I get stereotyped by random people as a violent threat? Is that fair, Adam?
Mm.
Adam's gonna say yes.
I love that everyone's finally talking about stereotype threat and agreeing with me. Most of the
Yes.
time when I bring up stereotypes, they're like, Adam, stereotypes are real, okay?
I know. Until they're being stereotyped and they're suddenly like,
Yeah.
whoa, this
And
isn't fair. What the fuck?
exactly.
Yes, true. That's a good
As
point.
look, as I understand that this stereotype exists as a man myself. Sometimes I'll go for a walk around the neighborhood and I'll put my hood up. Like I like to stay out of the sun, so I put my hoodie up. But then if I see, like a young lady walking her dog or something, I think, look, I look fucking scary. I look like I'm casing places to break in. Like
Right.
I'm conscious of that I'm sending a certain
You
stereotype
put
as
your
I'm
hood up when
walking
it's
around.
like hot? Wait, why are you wearing a jacket when it's
Well,
hot?
it's not really hot. I
Oh,
mean,
just put on a hat.
it's yeah. Look, a hat can put you in the same kind of
That's
situation.
true, I
You
guess.
you understand what I'm saying, right? That I look
Yeah,
like
no, listen,
a
I get it.
common criminal, right?
I've walked around with a hat and sunglasses playing Pokemon Go, and I'm like, I bet some
Right.
people are like, who is this sus man walking around on his phone?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
they
But
don't
you
know
don't.
that I'm playing Pokemon Go like a big fucking nerd.
But you don't look over at the people. I don't look at the young lady walking her dog and think, you fucking bitch, stereotyping me walking around like a criminal just because I got my hood up and I look like I'm casing places.
Yeah, but they
I
are.
put my hood down
Then
and I try to look like a respectable human being. I'm like, look, I'm just a normal person on a
right,
walk
but
here.
why is it
Why is it
socially
incumbent on me to do that?
why is it socially incumbent on a man to be like, okay, it's it's a man's responsibility to do all these things, but then if you add race to the equation, suddenly like, well, you're the bad guy. Like, why does the race factor change it
The
so
black
strongly?
the black guy gets out his white face. He's like
It says,
starting to paint his
Missa,
face up.
Missa, I ain't no threat. Look at me. Look at me. I got my white face on, right?
Oh my god. It's so terrible. That's so terrible. That's so terrible.
No, but see, it's a serious question.
Stereotypes are a bitch. I know.
I know, but what's why I'm saying. Why is there like this weird thing where with men, I kind of understand what you're saying. Like, why is it if you're a man, it's like, okay, you just have to accept it essentially that people are just gonna stereotype you, and then we just accept that that's fine. But if I was black and someone stereotyped me, I'm like, oh, that fucking bitch.
Well, the problem is if you're black, you can't just, take your black skin off. So it is more of it's more problematic,
Yeah, but if
as
I'm a
they
man,
say.
I can't take my man off, right? Like, yeah, I can.
Well, look, you can do things to look less menacing, though.
I
You
agree.
definitely can.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, sure.
Look, don't get that serpent tattoo on your neck. Don't get that teardrop, that
I
second teardrop
understand.
in
Sure,
prison.
sure,
Yeah.
right. And obviously, if you're dressed maybe a little nicer, you gotta dress up like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, wear a nice suit and tie, you're gonna seem less
Yeah, of
threatening, right?
course.
Sure,
Of
sure.
course. Yeah. Yes. There are things that you can do to minimize the stereotype. Yeah. That's the thing. There's none of that information in this thought experiment. So
Well,
people just assume they're
obviously,
like,
yeah.
this is, I mean, it's based, they think, look, it's Ted Kaczynski versus Winnie the Pooh. I'm going to go with Winnie the Pooh. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, just I guess to end the article, I'm not gonna read any more of it, but there's a section called "Men Are Lending Their Voice to Discussion," and of
I see
course,
that.
they don't. Of course, all the men that they ask all agree that that men are just the worst, and it makes total sense for women to choose men. They don't.
What
They
a
don't
bunch of
interview.
cucks.
They don't interview a single guy that says, you know what, I think it, creates negative stereotypes of men, and this is totally big to blah blah. Nope, CNN doesn't interview a single person that does it. And of course, if this was about race, every single one of these fuckers would have the exact opposite opinion. And they would say it's incredibly racist for you to try to bring up statistics and things of that nature. So I don't know. To me, the hypocrisy around this is just so fucking wild and disgusting. And it really does
Yeah.
bother me. The hypocrisy around it.
Yeah. I think the hypocrisy is obviously horrible. And I am glad people agree with me on stereotype. Finally.
Finally. That's the
Yeah.
trick. You just got to get them stereotypes and suddenly they agree.
Yes. Yeah. I think the thought experiment creates tons of miscommunication, and I just, even both sides, like the women losing their minds over this and the men losing their minds over this. It's just, I think there's better things to spend our time
Well,
on.
sure, obviously, but it's the internet.
Yeah.
Well, apparently
It's fun.
the person that claims to have created this stupid hypothetical is
Mm-hmm.
a male is a man. It's not a woman. Is a male TikTok creator, an anti-misogynist educator called Call Me BK.
Okay.
Is their name. So, which is pretty lame.
Call me BK, not
Yeah,
BTK.
I don't know what that's supposed to reference, but Call Me Burger King. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what the people say about this bear question.
Right.
Gay Band for $5 says, "Gosh, sorry for being so biased. Is there anything I can do to appear more compliant?" Yes, there is. It's like what we were talking about with the bear. I would suggest that you put your arms up in the air.
Yeah, and say I'm human. I'm human.
Say, listen, I'm an enlightened centrist. I'm an enlightened centrist. And you say when you approach Donald Trump, that's what you have to say. You have to say, I'm an enlightened centrist, and you have to slowly back up and say, I believe in equal justice for all. I believe in equal justice for all, and back up slowly when you're addressing a Donald Trump. So
Yeah.
I think that's what you should do. Now, if you see that the Donald Trump is angry, if he's up on his hind,
Right.
legs, you should definitely play dead. Okay.
If his ears are back and
There
he's in a charge stance.
you go. Sketch for $5 says, in contrast, a man will look at a bear in the woods and be like, I'm gonna ride that. There you go.
Yeah, look, I looked up some of the bear attacks and they're like, they were shooting at the bear. It's like, okay. Well, didn't you start it if you're shooting at the bear?
Doug for $2 says, what if the bear is Grills? There you go. There you
I don't
go.
know who that
Bear
is,
Grylls.
but oh,
The guy who would
okay.
do the fake I'm in the wild thing.
Sounds safe.
The Libertarian Trap for 19 months says, the bear discourse cracks me up as a country girl. Half of the city girls I work with are frightened by anything larger than a bunny. That is true. That is a good point. A lot of this is dumb virtue signaling. So
Right. I'm amazed
Brit,
it's still going on because this is like days and days and
well, it always takes
okay.
mainstream media a little bit to catch up. So
Right.
Britt Cormier for $50. Thanks so much, Britt. Says, women wakes up in the bear, tiger, lion, whatever habitat in a zoo. There's a man holding a rope with a harness to help her out of the habitat. Do you think she stays or goes up to the rope to be pulled up? That is why the bear answers are BS. Well, I like that. That's a good hypothetical.
Right.
The woman wakes up
Yeah.
in the bear enclosure in a zoo. Does she take the rope the man is offering to help her out of the bear enclosure?
No, she stays with the bear. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's so much
exactly.
safer.
That's true. Neil Johnstone for 10 months says, is the solution more money to get women into STEM or just to give up teaching girls math and use those fundings for muffin baking classes? There you go.
I do like muffins.
I do like muffins. Olivia Stratton for $20 says, some women said they thought strange men meant weird, not just stranger, so that could be skewing the results. Maybe.
Oh yeah, they're priming themselves.
That's true. That's true. Sodoge for $5 says, I'm surprised you haven't talked about the LP basically holding a Trump rally at their national convention. No debate or questions. Thanks, Dave Smith.
Oh, the Libertarian Party did. What?
I'm not even
Really?
familiar with that. Yeah.
A
I don't know.
Trump
I'll have to check
rally,
that out.
huh?
Send me, if you have a link to that, Sodoge, send it to me. I'm curious. Gay Ben for $2 says, Adam has never been in the woods even once. Is this true, Adam? Have you never been in the
Not true. Not true. Yeah. I'm an avid hiker. I've been out to the nature a lot, actually.
Have you been in like the deep woods or like Pussy Woods?
Well, I define Pussy Woods.
Like walking a mile, like you're a mile away from civilization or less.
Oh, I thought you meant like in a place with a lot of ladies.
No, that's not what I meant.
No, no, I've been out in the wilderness.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have gone out hiking and been in a situation where it was getting dark and I was thinking, oh shit, we're not going to make it back to the car in time before it's dark. We're gonna have to camp here.
That's not good.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I like going out to nature and camping and stuff like that. Do you do that stuff?
Well, I did, yeah, all the time in Boy Scouts. We can do all sorts of
Oh yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, taking a bunch of other people with you, that's like,
yeah, I've never been deep in the woods by myself. That is true.
Right.
So
I mean, you go with a few people, but I mean, if you need like 20 guys just to survive.
Well, listen, that's going to keep the bear attacks away. You got 20 small children. Yeah. And I'm like, I can outrun at least half of these kids. Okay.
Have you gone camping as an adult?
No, actually, I haven't.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Some of my old Boy Scout friends, we talked about it, but we've never worked up the energy to actually do it.
One of my favorite things to do is stream fishing.
I've never been fishing in my entire life.
You've never been fishing? Wow.
Nope.
I've been fishing on a boat. I've been fishing in streams.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go up to this creek that emptied into a reservoir that was full of like little turtles. We'd
Right.
catch the little turtles. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sammy G for $5 says the real question for chat. Would you rather run into Adam or Sitch in the woods?
Obviously, Adam.
There you go.
Like you don't even know what Sitch looks like. He
That's a
could
good
be
point. That's a great point. If you ran into someone that looks like my avatar in the woods, that's a bad sign.
yeah.
Okay. That's that's pretty I don't know if that's not a good
That's
thing.
terrifying.
That is terrifying, yeah. Could you imagine? That seems like some sort of like backroom fever dream. You see like something that looks like my avatar just runs at you saying, "Hey now, hey now, hey now," trying to kill you. Sounds like a nightmare. Hail the free voice for
Yes.
$2 says LMFO Adam Steelman today. Jesus fucking Christ.
I just look. I don't have I don't have a bear in this fight, okay?
There
I
you
could
go.
care less on either side of this one.
There you go.
I understand women are scared creatures sometimes. So,
Hmm.
and I understand that men are sometimes easily offended. So,
Largest P for 50 months says, I don't know if Adam has that little risk aversion to bears or knows that women should stay away from him in the woods.
uh,
That's pretty funny.
yeah, look. I mean, if she's cute, I might ask her out on a date.
There you go. That's the place to pick up women, right? Is in the woods.
Of course.
Yeah, there you go. J Mac, our circuit father, thanks so much for $20. Says, I think I'd rather run into Adam in the woods, but that's because he seems like the type that has snacks on him.
Oh my God. It's
Yeah,
so
I was gonna
true.
say, like, you think Adam would have snacks and marijuana on him, so then
Dude,
again,
I always have pocket food. Going into the woods without pocket food is just, I
that's
mean,
true.
that's a death trap.
That's how you attract the bears, though, with your pocket food.
Really?
They smell your pocket food.
Damn it. That's probably true.
Then again, Sitch is a Florida man, and his survival skills could be useful. Wow, Sammy, this is a tough one. There you go. That's a true. And I am an official Eagle Scout, so
I always have pocket food. I go to the Target and I have pocket food with me. I'm
I mean,
like, I'm ready.
if I regularly hiked, and it's so funny because there actually is like a weird area that I go through to when I play Pokemon Go sometimes that is kind of suspect. And I should, and I'm probably going to buy a gun and get a gun license just so I can carry it when I play Pokemon.
Because it's a bad neighborhood.
It's no, it's just like a weird. It's just like this. There's like this in the middle of like a very populated area. There's this pretty large wooded space. And I've been in there and I've never seen anyone in there ever. But there's a trail there and it's in a very weird place. It's kind of a weird area.
Mhm.
I've seen like a
Like you
fox in there
see
once, which
used
was cool.
condoms lying around on the ground and
No,
stuff.
you see like trash occasionally, so I know people go through there. And there's Pokemon stops in there, so I know someone's done that. There's a Pokemon gym there, and people put their Pokemon in there. So I know some other nerds are going in this place, but I don't know, it's just a weird, sussy kind of weird area. And I'm like, this is a good
Right.
place to
You're
like
like,
get
I want a
murdered.
gun.
Yeah, I'm like, I need a gun here. Okay. So
Right. Cool.
so there you go. Listen, so if you meet me in the woods, I'll probably have a gun on me for protection, right?
Right. Sure. That's how you abduct the women, right? With the gun.
Exactly. There you go. Old school for $10 says Adam doesn't understand conditional probability. The probability you'd be killed by a bear given you encounter a bear. True. Yes, I guess that's what the word I'm looking for. Conditional probability.
Yeah, that's a good word to describe the thing that we're talking about. But I
Right.
think more more weight should be put on that word encounter because like encounter can vary widely. That's the problem here.
Mm.
Right.
Encounter could be from you've stumbled on a bear and you're right up in their grill and you surprise them. That's an encounter. And also you see them across the field is an encounter, but
Mhm.
obviously one of those is probably more likely to get you mauled. Substantially more likely.
Right. J-Mac, our second follower for another $10, for another $20. Thank you. Says, don't people know women attract bears? They can smell the menstruation. That's true.
Women.
That's
Yeah.
true. Women.
Who
Come on.
cares about the pocket food? Women.
Yeah, never bring
don't
a woman
go-
in the woods. That's why we were okay as Boy Scouts. There weren't any women around to attract the bears.
Right.
Okay. And then J-Mac also says, if a bear is wearing a bib and has a fork and knife, he's in predator mode. There you go. That's how you know. That's how you know you gotta fight. Okay. When he pulls out the knife and fork, you're like,
Can you
uh-oh.
imagine? I think
Right.
it's the bib that's the funny part.
Malik for $5 says, I'm ready. Quote, I'm reading the be ready to fight as you're fucking dead. Yeah, that's not a
Yeah,
good.
me too.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, here's the question. So if the bear takes out a bib and a fork and knife, you know you're in trouble, right? But
Oh yeah.
if the bear puts on a bib and takes out chopsticks,
Oh, you've got a fighting chance.
oh, are you like, okay, is the bear gonna try to eat me with chopsticks, or does that mean it's got some delicious sushi somewhere and it's about to enjoy? Right? Maybe you're just
I
stereotyping the bear.
I picture your toe being caught in the chopsticks and you likely escaping.
Oh, he's gonna try. He's gonna Kung Fu Panda you. He's gonna attack you with the chopsticks. Okay. Ryan Owl for $5. Thank you. Says the biggest issue of the question is assuming the worst of the man and the least of the bear. It's like running into Ted Bundy or Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I said.
Exactly. Yeah. Moondoggy for $5 says, oh, I lost it. Says, nah,
Nah.
Adam, keep on saying bears. The way this captured people is so interesting. Fondue for $5 says, I wonder how many of those bear behaviors are socially constructed.
All of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
M8566, thank you. This is my favorite super chat, even though no one will get it. For $5 says, quote, bear down for midterms. Thank you. I couldn't think of anything else than that in the entire bear discourse. I just keep thinking of Chang from Community saying bear down for midterms. And I know that like only a handful of people
Yeah,
even
what is
get the
it?
fucking reference.
Come on, we
So.
want to be in the know. Tell us.
No, there's a Community episode. It's not even worth explaining, honestly. It's not even worth explaining. Don't worry about it.
Well, thanks for the super chat, though.
But thank you, thank you so much. You warmed my heart with that. Shinto for 19 months says another part of the debate from the pro-bear side is that when alone, the average man will default to a grapist. They'd rather die than be graped. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Is everyone thinks, oh, every guy walking alone is going to be got to be doing something shady. So,
and there was that huge story in the news recently about the woman that got her skull bashed in because she encountered some guy in the woods.
There you go. Classic winger maneuver, right? Tip the scales.
Yeah.
Danny Boy for $2 says, I'd rather be stuck in a debate with a bear than Adam.
Look, the bear is going to let you go sooner or later. I'm not giving in.
You can play dead in that debate and Adam doesn't give a shit.
I don't give a
shit.
Exactly. You've chosen wisely, Danny Boy.
Fondue for $5 says, by the way, I was told the next highest threat to a hiker after hypothermia is falling tree branches. Everyone is focused on the wrong killer in the scenario. Is that true? People really die from getting hit by tree branches? Okay.
Man, those tree branches can be heavy.
Well, but see, that is the literal perfect mathematical encapsulation of why people can't conceptualize the bear question. Okay. Because
Right.
you could say someone, well, you're substantially more likely to be struck by a tree branch and injured than attacked by a bear, than hurt by a bear. So here's your choice. Do you stand under a tree or stand next to a bear?
I'll take the bear.
Yeah, right. So but that's like the perfect like how statistics fucks with people's brains. They can't conceptualize it because like obviously the reason that falling branches are the number two thing is because there's so many trees everywhere that when you're walking and people are constantly walking under them, even though it doesn't happen that often.
Mhm.
Orca for 9 months says insert a snake instead of a bear. Some of the stats are roughly the same. Hi, Wormilton. I mean, I think, I mean, unless you're like right on the snake, which I mean, obviously you are in scenarios, but you can kind of get away from a snake if it's at a distance. It's not going to come at, like snakes are generally not going to come at you, right? You just going to stumble upon a snake by accident.
Yeah.
But I guess that's an interesting question. Would you rather stumble upon a rattlesnake like 5 feet away or like a man in the woods?
I mean, it's just
Interesting question.
yeah, the man thing.
Yeah.
I'm generally not really scared of other guys when I'm hiking.
Right.
I guess it does. So much of it does depend upon the place. Like you were saying, you're in that sketchy place and you're thinking, okay, well, this is, if I stumble on someone here, they're definitely high likelihood that they're a serial killer.
Right,
But
right, right, right.
then, like all the places that I generally go hiking and stuff like that, I mean, you see people all the time because it's like that's where everyone goes to go hiking.
Hmm.
Look, you're hiking up by Griffith Observatory.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm
like
saying.
there's
Depends
fucking people everywhere. Like
if
I'm
you're
not
on a tr
scared of running into a fucking person.
right, if you're on a trail that's heavily
Right.
walked, right? But if I was in that place I was talking about and I saw a
Yeah.
person there, I'd be like, I'm gonna turn
Yeah.
around. Like,
You're
I'm not
like
gonna walk
this.
up. Yeah.
I'm gonna bump into a fucking drug deal.
Right. I'm assuming that the only people in there are the off nerds playing Pokemon like me and people doing shady shit.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
M8566 for $5 says, Sitch, you're deep in the Everglades. Would you rather encounter a gator or a green-haired feminist? Well, come on. Obviously, the
Hmm.
gator would be less threatening. Okay.
Is the feminist cute?
Does it matter?
Maybe.
Ostracy for $10 says, I'm behind, but I give Adam a hard time because his quote, I'm just giving the woman's perspective, gives me the real Sargon talking about Ukraine vibes. I'm just giving the Russian perspective. Feels dodgy. There you go.
Okay. That is fair. That is 100%
I
fair.
like that.
Yeah.
JMac for $5. Thank you so much. Circuit Father JMac says Sammy was questioning your Florida man card earlier, and I defended you, Sitch. But now I hear you haven't been fishing at two. Listen, I
Yeah.
appreciate
What is
you
that?
for defending my Florida man status. I am 100% only a positive Florida man. There's lots of bad Florida mans out there that do crazy
Is there
shit.
fishing in Florida? I'm
Of course, there's
fishing
lots of
all over the
fishing.
place.
I've just
Yeah.
never. I don't know. It's never been a thing. Most of the wildernessy things I've ever done were all in relation to Boy Scouts, and I don't know, they never went fishing. It was not a thing. I don't
Fishing
know
is a
why.
blast.
It seems like it's something that would be fun. Well, here's the thing, because like growing up, so as I said, all the wildernessy things I did were with Boy Scouts. My parents didn't do wildernessy things. They were not into any of that stuff.
Hmm.
So and they weren't into fishing or doing anything like that. So I've never had the opportunity. I would like to. It seems like it'd be interesting.
Stream fishing is great. You come upon like crystal clear water and you see the fish over there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get me some of these fish.
Hmm.
It's great. But I mean, lake fishing is cool too. It's just you can't, there's not like a lot of visual stimulation in a lake. Like you're throwing
Sure.
a line out and you're just waiting. But it is nice to feel that tug on your line and you're like, oh yeah, bring
Hmm.
this bad dog in.
Right.
Yep.
Sammy G for $2 says your Florida man status is in question, Sitch. Wow.
Yeah, look, they're
Wow.
coming for you.
I know. Look at this.
We've exposed you.
Just because I've never fished before. Jeez.
Yeah,
I've
look.
done the real Florida activity. I used to play street hockey in the road and have to move the goal when the cars drove by. That's the real Florida man activity. All right. Get out of here.
I mean, I'm questioning the man part just as much as I'm questioning the Florida
Wow.
part. I mean,
Wow.
it's just I mean, I've been fishing hundreds of times, Sitch,
Hmm. Okay.
and
Good for you.
you've never been once.
I've never been once. No.
You don't know what it's like to feel that tug on the line.
Adam really likes to go fishing with the bros and feel that tug on his line.
Oh yeah, so good.
He's really questioning my man status because I haven't got tugged on the line yet.
You go out in a boat,
Mm-hmm.
you drink and drive on the lake.
Oh,
You're not supposed to do that, but
okay. Hey, listen.
right.
When
Hmm.
we in Boy Scouts, we had a horseback riding uh we had a horseback riding hike trail. Okay. We had to ride horses for a week. Okay. And at the end of it, us Florida kids,
Hmm.
okay, we had to do a rodeo horse race challenge against a troop of Boy Scouts from Texas.
Wow.
And guess who won?
You did.
We did, bitches.
Nice.
We did. Okay. Florida represent. Get out of here, Texas.
Wow, that's crazy.
A base life for $5 says Sitch can't play Pokemon Go without his rape whistle. Otherwise, it'll be poke this man go. It's terrible.
That is
Terrible.
awful.
Twitter Socks for $2 says range day when we can test what you like. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I'm
Oh,
definitely
that's
down,
cool.
but I like shooting guns.
Yeah.
JMac for $10 says if the bear pulls out chopsticks, you're fine because that means it's a panda bear and they're kind of retarded. There you go.
We Todd did.
Yeah, there you go. Calvin Paffer for $5 says if I see a man in the woods, it's a fish and game trooper, and I'm fucked because I do not follow the county code while bear. There you go.
Yeah, if
Calvin
you see a
Calvin
guy in
goes in the
uniform,
woods looking for the bears, all right?
they always write tickets and shit.
That's true.
They're a menace to society.
Mr. Ubercross for $5 says the question should be, would you take an 80% chance of being eaten or a 20% chance of being raped?
Right.
There you go.
A lot of people will go with the 80%.
Yeah, I think that's wrong, but okay. It's trying. Trying for 11 months says this discourse is getting overbearing. We need a
Ah,
pause. Also, who would win in a fight, the cocaine bear or a rhinoceros-sized horse? I mean, the cocaine bear. Come on. No
yeah.
chance. Obviously. The bear on cocaine. Mr. Ubercross again, thanks so much. Our surrogate Sitch and Adam lawyer for $10 says, my wife and I went for a hike around some beautiful waterfalls and trees around here. We accidentally stumbled upon some people making porn and slowly backed away. There you go.
That's
You should have
hilarious.
raised your hands in the air and been like, it's okay, we're human. We didn't mean to interrupt your coitus. We'll slowly back away. Okay,
That's
this is the
crazy.
real question, survival question, Adam. What happens if you're in the woods and you accidentally stumble upon bears fucking in the woods?
Yeah, you just back away, obviously.
Well, wait a minute.
They're busy.
Are they bears like the animals, or are they bears like two big gay burly men?
Either one. Look, if they're bears like burly men, run.
Okay.
Turn around
That's
and
very
run.
homophobic. J-Mac,
Is it?
yes, it is. J-Mac, return your father for $10. Says, next time you're in Tennessee, come on over to my ma and pa's. They got two tanks stocked with big mouth stripes, perch, and cats longer than your
Oh,
arms, son. Well, there you go. Look at that.
oh, that'd be great. We should plan a trip. Just go out there.
There you go. What do you mean what does that mean? You have tanks stocked with it?
Two tanks stocked.
Like to eat? Like you wouldn't fish in a tank, right? You just mean just to eat them.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what do you mean by tanks? I
Like I
thought it
wouldn't
was like a
fish in.
reservoir.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I don't know these terms. Okay.
They do have places that you can go up in Northern California where they have like a reservoir
Mm-hmm.
that is just like there's so many fish in there that you
Right,
just
they
are
add the
catching
fish.
fish
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. I know about
yeah,
that. Sure.
yes.
Yeah, they've
There's a fish
salted the
farm
lake with
too.
fish, essentially.
There's a cool fish farm too that we've visited up north of Los Angeles. That's pretty cool too, where they
Mm-hmm.
grow all the fish that they stock a lot of the reservoirs with.
Yes.
which is cool. It's just like these canals just like filled with fish,
Mm-hmm.
which is great.
J-Mac for $10 says, "Holy crap, Sitch! You have to bring up the Bearscape Magic the Gathering card. Also, a tank is a man-made lake. Oh, I've never heard
Right.
that
That's what I
terminology.
thought. We call them reservoirs here, though.
Yeah. Wait, was that Bearscape picture real? I thought that was like a joke. Is that actually real? Is this card real? I thought this was a joke. I saw this picture. I thought it was just like a troll. Okay, I guess I'll send this to Adam. Bring it up before we go. This is an official Magic the Gathering card. Okay, I'm gonna read while you're bringing that up. Workout for $5 says Bear or Florida Man would have been a funny meme. Instead, we got sexism. True. True. True, true, true. Also, I haven't been looking at Magic stuff for a while, and I look back, there's like all sorts of weird, like Magic's gone off the deep end. They're making all sorts of weird sets. They have a Fallout set. They have a fucking what's her name? The the little cartoon anime girl set. Oh, Hatsune Miku. They have a Hatsune Miku set. I'm like, what is going on here with Magic Gathering? Shit's getting weird. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. See, it feels a little desperate, but we'll see.
What are you
Did
doing?
Adam die?
No, I'm here. Well, I'm
Oh, okay.
wondering what you're doing.
Did you bring up that picture?
No, I was changing the title.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Bear encounter stats.
No, you should have me and you argue about bears.
This is not a real.
It's a real Magic the Gathering card.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
No, this is
J-Max saying it's real, which is kind of insane to
Bearscape.
me.
That can't be real.
It's real.
All right,
It's real.
describe it to our listeners.
Oh, you don't want to bring it up?
I did bring it up.
Oh, okay. So this picture has like a lake, some kind of little river or something. It's got, gay men that you would describe as bears, like chilling in the lake, and the card is called Bearscape. It's a real Magic the Gathering card. It looks super ultra mega gay. It's kind of funny, but also kind of insane that this is a real card. So, was this like a joke set? Because I know that they do joke sets, so I'm hoping this was a joke set and not like for a real set or something. But anyway,
All
Orca
right.
for 2 hours says Adams gay psyop could sway the election. True. True, true, true. Okay. Anyway, I guess that's
I
it for the
changed
day, right?
I changed the title to debate bear versus man. Sitch is scared of bears. Laughing face emoji.
That's fine. You can
What
be,
a
oh, I'm
pussy.
so brave. I'm gonna go beat up the bears. But you're afraid of a man because you're a pussy.
What a pussy.
You're the one afraid of a
Can't take on a
person.
little tiny
You're
bear.
afraid of a person like a pussy.
No, I'm not. Look, I picked the man. I'll
Hmm.
probably be, well, I'll be playing cards with him. It'll be great. Look, we'll do a little impromptu poker game.
Right. Weren't you the one that
I'll
said you were
bust out
like,
my pocket food.
didn't we have the conversation where you thought you couldn't take out a cheetah in a fight?
No, cheetahs are
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
They're products of thousands of years of inbreeding. Always go up against a cheetah.
Well, no, cheetah. Well, I don't know. It's just they're very weak because they were built for speed, not for like fighting. But oh, so I just listen. You're afraid. You don't even think you could take out a horse-sized duck, but you think you can. You could think you could deal with a bear. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm a little bit more grounded here. Maybe that's the okay. There you go. That's the new one. Would you rather have to fight a bear or a horse-sized duck?
A bear or a horse-sized duck? A horse-sized duck, obviously.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I don't
Look,
know, man.
I'm not insane.
Okay.
All right.
J
Thanks
Mac,
a
our
lot.
surrogate
Oh,
father, thank you so much for the $10. Says, did you see the Magic the Gathering Pride event? They basically broke in Commander for a whole month to virtue signal. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. What is going on with Magic? This is insane. They did
that's awful.
a Pride event. Oh God.
Ugh.
Terrible.
Ugh. I should have never busted out the the rainbow flag.
I know. Look what you've done, Adam.
I'm partially to blame for
You're
that.
the blame for this. Okay. Anyway,
All right, take care. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
see you
Bye
tomorrow.
bye.